Well, folks, it's another day here at the off-grid property. If you've been following along, you know that I'm here solo this trip. Lorena had to stay back in the city to take care of stuff, and she got some family visiting and other things. So she's there, I'm here, and I've just been working on projects, primarily maintenance stuff. And, you know, some of it hasn't gone so well. Now, when I say it hasn't gone so well, it doesn't mean that I didn't get it done. It just means that it presented many challenges. Old Murphy showed up whenever he could, and, you know, things didn't go as simple as they could have. But at the end of the day, it just slowed us down. It didn't stop us, and business was taken care of. So the first thing we did, of course, was work on the tractor, and we had to repack the cylinders on the loader. Now, like I say, that old loader is about wore out. It was used hard through its life. Tractor's fine, but the loader just has a lot of issues, so we always have to work on it. And so now I have officially repacked all 4 cylinders on that loader, so the cylinders should be good now for years to come. And you know, the metal is fatigued because, like I say, it was worked so hard, so it's got several cracks and stuff that we discovered. And I welded all those up and everything, ground stuff out, welded it up, so that's all taken care of. So, you know, at least for now, the tractor's good to go. Like I say, it's still wore out, so ain't no telling, you know, what'll go wrong with it next, but it's all right. Nothing we can't handle. We got her fixed, and she's back in service, so I do have plans to use it. So my goals for this trip really were to take care of some maintenance. That was a big issue because it was leaking like a sieve and couldn't run it. So I needed to get that fixed just so that it's operable. And then I've really got to do some work on this road. It'd be nice to get it finished to its permanent state, but that's going to be a lot of work. So we'll see what happens. Next thing I've got to do is I got to do a little bit of a job here on the dozer. So last time I ran it, I was ripping an area we call the field of stone. It's just an area full of rocks, and I rip it and it brings rocks to the top, and then we go pick up the rocks and fill the bucket on the tractor to do whatever we need if we need some rocks in an area. And when I did that, I picked up a boulder. Let me show you. So I got that boulder stuck in my ripper, and I have tried multiple times to get that thing out of there. I mean, it is solid. It's really wedged in there hard. And I mean, I was hitting it and hitting it and hitting it with a 16-pound or 8-pound sledge, I don't know. With the biggest sledgehammer I got, I was hitting the crap out of that thing, and it didn't even budge. It didn't break, it didn't budge, so I have got to get that out of there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to move the dozer over to the shop, and then I'll probably get out the demolition hammer and see if I can't, you know, a demolition hammer is like a small jackhammer. See if I can't break that thing up a bit to get it out of there. I don't know what else to do. So maybe we'll have to chip away at it. I don't know, but that's my next project. So the reason I need to do that is because I need to run the dozer. So, you know, we've covered many times that we get a lot of challenges with erosion because we get these storms through here. It's like monsoons. I mean, the rain really comes down. You know, you can get 4 to 6 inches in an hour, worst case scenario, but not uncommon to get, you know, 4, 5, 6 inches in a storm. So whether that's a day or overnight or whatever, it comes down fast and hard, and all that runoff and everything causes a lot of damage. So here's an example. Got this crack that runs down, and you know, that's just from water run out, just cutting that you know, the Grand Canyon, just cutting it out. And if we walk along this ledge, you know, you see a lot of that, and that constantly happens, and you know, we work on it. This road was, you know, we've said many times, a temporary road. I did always have plans to build it out more and to crown it and all that kind of stuff, but just we haven't got to that point because we've been focusing on the building. So since I'm up here by myself, I obviously can't put the roof on the building, but I can work on some of these other projects. So this road, I think, could use my attention. You know, looking down the side, now the weeds is coming up, but you can still see the ravines from the runoff, that it's just constantly chewing away at the shoulders of this road. And then if we look down the middle, you can see the dirt has actually washed out from under the rock. So we're starting to get some big old potholes, whatever you want to call it. And so as the water chews away at the side and digs out the middle, you know, this road's kind of getting smaller, and we don't want it to get to the point where we start driving down it and we fall off these shoulders. That would not be good. So I had started putting some dirt down there and filling in some of that, and it's already tore up and everything, so that's not a good solution. So I might as well get to work and go to the permanent solution. So the permanent solution, hard to see with all these weeds growing up and everything, but there's a road that runs right down the side here and, you know, goes up, and that eventually would go really right up. If you were to come straight up this thing, you would end up just about going right into the door there on the shop, which is what I wanted. I want to be able to pull out of that shop and come right on down this road. So my plan was always to fill all this in with dirt and build it up, and that was going to be the extension of this road. So you can see it's going to widen out with a whole another lane, which essentially down here, that would make this at least 3, possibly 4 lanes wide. I mean, it'll be wide road, but that's good because then that allows me to do some mitigation and run ditches or whatever I got to do down the outside, and kind of work to build a more stable road that can handle the runoff. I've made a deal. Somebody had some, I call them storm drain boxes. They're square boxes with a grate on the top that you put culverts in them. And so the water on the surface runs down into the boxes and then out culverts. So I've acquired 4 of those boxes. I've got to go pick them up. The problem is that only one of them has a grate, so I'm gonna have to build covers for them, and that'll just be based on, you know, whatever kind of steel I can acquire. I've got some 1/2-inch steel that I may be able to cut some grates out of, and then you know, maybe weld some steel to the bottom of it for more support. I don't know, we'll see. But definitely gonna have to have to build something there for that. And then figure out a layout of how to put those things up top and get the water flow right, so the water flow goes into them without you know, flowing a bunch of dirt and crap into them. You just want the water to go into them. If we were doing asphalt or something, you know, that might make it easier, but we're not at this point anyway. So we'll figure that out eventually. I don't think that's a short-term project. That's a long-term, but in the short term, I guess the plan will be to clean this up a little bit with the dozer, and then start bringing in loads of dirt and building lifts. So to build a lift, you basically, you know, push the dirt out with the dozer, come up about 12 inches, and then we'll run the compactor over the top of that, and then we'll put in some more dirt and keep doing that until we build the dirt up level with this road. And then I'll take the tractor. My theory is I'll take the tractor and scrape all this rock that I put down on the top, try to scrape that off and pile it somewhere, because I'll want to reuse it. There's a lot of good rock in here. That's just crushed concrete. And then once we get all that cleaned up and everything, we'll apply dirt where we need it, get the road shaped how we want it, crown it, all that kind of stuff, using the motor grader. And then you know, do whatever work we need to do on this side to get it done, and so that we'll have our full road built and shaped the way we want it. And then we'll start to put the rock back down, and of course we'll have to bring in more rock and see if we can get it. Now that's a major project, and recognize that I'll be doing this by myself, so that makes it an even bigger project. It ain't something that's gonna be done overnight. It's gonna take a while. And so I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to drop back to doing one video a week. So I have been doing 2 videos a week, plus sometimes I'll do a short or something if I get something that I think is worthy of posting. And I'll probably still do that if something worthy happens or whatever, you know, I'll still do a short. But I'm going to be putting a lot of time and energy into just building this road. So as far as having the time to edit and publish videos, we'll see. But I think what's going to happen is one a week. So if that's what ends up happening, that we go to one a week, you know, please don't abandon us. Stick with us. Recognize everything we're doing right now is we are still building to a point to get here full time. We don't live here. We still live in the city. So the problem with moving from the city is several things. Number one, I have a house in the city that's full of stuff, a lifetime of crap. So I need a place to put all that. So if I just, you know, pack it all up and move up here, where am I going to put it? I don't have a place yet. My shipping containers have stuff scattered throughout them. They're not ready to have stuff neatly put in for storage purposes. They just get stuff as I come up here constantly and, you know, bring stuff along, whatever. One of them serves as my shop right now. So in theory, when this shop is done, then I'll be able to move stuff out of there, you know, into the regular shop. So there is a plan. There is a process. It's slow. So before we can get up here full time, a few things have to happen. Our plan is laid out. So we need to finish this shop. What do we have left on the shop? So obviously the roof. I'm here by myself. I can't do the roof. Until I can get in a position to do that, the roof ain't gonna get done, and that's kind of gnawing at me, to be honest. So I need to get the roof on there, and then once the roof is on, then you got all this trim that's got to go on. So, you know, like for example, these corners, you know, you got two pieces of tin that come together and there's a big hole in there. You can't leave that like that. So there is a piece of trim that covers this and seals all that up, and you know, that'll seal it up and keep the bugs out, whatever, I don't know, keep the water out, keep everything out, beautify it as well as seal it up. There'll be trim that goes along the top where the roof meets the siding. There'll be trim that'll go along there. Same thing on the ends. Trim along the top, rake trim. And then there'll be like a big box or whatever that joins that together. So that's what we've got to do just to finish the structure. The structure, we have to get the roof on and get all the trim work done. And recognize, again, if you haven't been following us, we've never done any of this before. So every bit of this that we've done so far, we've pretty much done from sheer determination and hard work, learning as we go, and just getting it done. And we've never had more than 2 people working on this building at a time. So first, my buddy Hank and I did 90%, maybe 85% of the framing work. We came up here for a week and a half and we put up almost all of the frame. And then Lorena and I came up and we finished the frame. We did all the different detail work to the framing, tons of little items that had to be done. We put in window frames, got all that done. And then we started putting on the siding. We did this side first because that was the easiest to do. We had to learn how to do the trim on this door. And then we did that side because the tin for the sides was all together in one bundle. So you do one side, then the other side. And of course, on that side there, we had 2 doors to trim out, and we put in that walk door. Again, all of this we never did before. We got that done, and then we started on the end walls. We did this end wall first because there's no windows or doors or anything, and this one was the easiest. We got that done, and then we went to that end wall over there and faced a lot of significant challenges. You can go back and watch the video. I'll put the tag in the corner there to watch it. If you haven't watched it, you can watch the whole video series if you like. But, you know, we've just been going step by step, putting this together. So that side was a challenge because there's the 3 windows in the other walk door. And then, of course, all these purlins that run along the top actually go through the wall on that end. So there's more trim to be done. Once it's all done, that'll seal that up even further. But now we're at the point that the roof's got to go on. Once the roof is on, all the trim's got to be finished up. And that will complete the structure. That'll be the entirety of the building as it came in the kit. Now, we did add to it. It's not all just what came in the kit. Obviously, the windows and doors did not come in the kit. We added all that. But the rest of the building will be up per the kit, but then we still have a few problems. 3 of them to be exact. These big gaping holes, 14 by 14 foot holes. Those have to be closed up. So we're waiting on our doors. We've ordered doors, ordered them, back in like March or April we ordered those doors. And they were supposed to be shipped from the factory couple days ago, or yesterday actually, and they were not shipped, and we received notice that the date has been pushed another 2 weeks. So that's your supply chain issues or whatever. It is what it is. So we're waiting on those doors. When I get notified that the doors are at the store, then I have to drive up to Missouri and pick them up. So they're being shipped to a Menards store in Hollister, Missouri. So I've got to drive from East Texas all the way up to Hollister, Missouri, and pick up those doors. So that'll be a couple day project that, road trip, whatever you want to call it, that is put into all this. Once I get the doors, if it's something that I can do by myself, I'll start putting them up. If not, I'll wait for Lorena to come and help me. But once those doors are up, then that means that everything will be completely dried in, and the next step will be spray foam. So I'll have to get some bids on spray foam, looking at some different options, everything from hiring contractors to come in and do it to a DIY option, renting a professional rig and doing the spraying myself. So we're going to compare all those costs and everything and figure it out and see what's the best option for us. Obviously, we're already way over budget, so any place we can save money is probably a good thing. But between inflation costs, supply chain challenges, etc., everything is way over budget. So anyway, once the spray foam is done, then there's one other thing I want to do, and that's paint the spray foam. So from doing research on spray foam, it is susceptible to UV damage. So with big doors and everything and windows, whatever, UV light will get into the shop, and we don't want over the years for that spray foam, very expensive for its spray foam, to deteriorate. So the best option is to paint it. And the kind of paint that we want to use, there's some special paints that also provide fire retardant. So it's going to be a shop, and I will use cutting torch and grinders and who knows what other tools, welders, etc. I never want that spray foam to be able to catch on fire, and I know that most spray foam is somewhat fire retardant in and of itself, but to make it even more so, the best thing I can do is use a fire retardant paint. So that kills two birds with one stone. It'll help to protect it from UV and also prevent fires. So the plan is to buy, however many 5-gallon buckets of that stuff I need, which I've been told already it's very expensive. So we're looking probably at a few $1,000s just for paint. And then, get a sprayer and probably an airless sprayer and paint the whole thing. So once that's done, then the shop itself, the building, the outer shell, whatever, will be complete. So it'll have the building done, the spray foam done, the fire retardant paint over it, the doors will be in, etc. It'll all be dried in and secure. And at that point, the only thing left will be then to build our living quarters / barn dominium inside. So once we do that, then we'll be ready to actually move into this. But we've decided that we don't need to do that before we move up here, that we can live in the RV while we're building the living quarters. The key thing is that we have to move all our household goods. Now, I was in the military for over 30 years, and part of my retirement, actually anytime you separate from the military, you are allowed a final move. So you finish your service in the military wherever you're at, and they allow you one final move to get to where you want to be. Now, I don't know if you can do this regular, but as part of retirement you can get waivers to extend that date. And so I actually have applied for and been granted 5 waivers. I am on my 5th waiver now, which basically means that I have until the 6-year point after my retirement to move all my household goods, and the government will still pay for it. And I have 2 options there. I can either hire a moving company and or let the government actually do it, and they'll come in and move all my stuff, pack it up, etc., and move it up here, or I can do what's called a Diddy move, and that's a do-it-yourself move. So my plan is to do a Diddy move. You know, one of the negative things about being in the military, over the years, I have had so much stuff stolen from moving companies, whether it was in storage or whatever. Just the other day, I discovered some more stuff that I never discovered in the past. I had a set of really nice speakers that were packed together in a box in the original packaging, and I went to move them. They were in my storage building, and I went to move them the other day, and the dang box is empty, which means where did the speaker go? And then I found another speaker box that was some old Kenwood speakers that it was empty. Now I haven't used them since prior to my move to Alaska, which I moved to Alaska in 2008 and came back in 2011. And unfortunately, I never unpacked those boxes and went through them. I had the movers put them down, and I never touched them afterwards. So now I'm wondering, okay, how did those end up empty? Obviously, somebody opened the box, and they're still tape sealed, like they're, you know, were moved. So obviously somebody opened that box, took them out, and sealed the box back up. I didn't notice, so I never got paid for the loss. That's the way it is. But, you know, nobody likes a thief. And that's one of the big negative things in the military. So anybody that's joining the military, has relatives in the military, my advice, travel light. Don't acquire stuff. Wait till you're done. Acquire cash. Acquire money, acquire investments. Gold, silver, whatever, put it in a safety deposit box somewhere. If you got land, bury it there, whatever you want to do. But don't acquire stuff that you have to move all the time. It makes all your moves that much harder, and it also gives thieves more stuff to steal. So, anyway, off that rant. That's why I want to do a do-it-yourself move. I'll move the stuff myself, and when I bring it up here, basically we'll pack it all up in boxes and everything, and then we'll have the shipping containers and all that to put it into, but I really need to organize it to get it in there well. So the plan is, I've got this huge shop. It'll be complete and it'll be secure, and so we will drive our trailer right up here to the shop and basically unload it into the inside space, and I'll just stack all my household goods. I mean, this is 4,000 square feet of space in here. My house is only, I don't know, 2,300 square feet. So I'm very confident that I can fit all my household goods and everything into this shop. So we'll stack it in here. That'll give us time to organize it and start to put it into the storage containers, because all that stuff, we're going to try to organize it so that the stuff we need will be, you know, set aside. So that'll go into our living quarters, you know, kitchen stuff, our bedroom set, whatever, you know, some living room items, etc. So that'll be set aside because we're going to use that. And then other stuff that we're not going to use, you know, knickknacks, formal dining room, etc., that stuff will be put into our storage. And that, of course, will await the building of our future home. So this house here, living quarters, is going to be small, less than 1,000 square feet. And its purpose is just to give us a place to live while we transition, and something bigger than the RV, so it'll be comfortable. That's our plan. And then, of course, once we're up here full time and working on projects, we have not began to design our home yet. So we would like to design and build our own home. That is going to be a major project. So up the hill there, where I've been taking dirt to do all this work, eventually I'm going to level all that out and everything, and that is where we will build the house. Now my long-term plan is to do insulated concrete forms, to have a basement and a first floor, and so basically it'll be a one-story house with a basement, but it'll be a finished basement, so there'll be stairs from the inside to go down into the basement, etc. That'll provide storm shelter and everything else. So that's kind of, you know, where we're going with the house, and it'll be up here on top, and that'll be a cool project. But that may be, you know, 5 more years before we even get to that, because we got tons of other projects we want to do, and again, we plan to design our own house, so it's going to take us a while just to do the design and come up with what we want to do, and then you know, get to the point where we're ready to build. Well folks, my camera overheated and died before I got to the end of my ramble, but that's okay. If you stuck with us this far through the video, then you just might be as excited about these plans as we are. There's a lot to do here, and it's going to be quite a while before we get to the end of it, but it's going to be a good journey. We appreciate having you all along with us. So as always folks, take care, God bless, we'll see you on the next one.